Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, it looks as though the days when Goodluck Jonathan, the former president, the days when he used to quietly take criticisms and brick bats being thrown at him are long gone. Now, you will recall that yesterday I brought you a story where the EFCC lead, Ibrahim Magu, stated in a conference that 1.3 trillion were stolen under the Goodluck Jonathan administration. So he said this, and he went on to list what that amount of money could have done for the Nigerian state and what the Nigerian state missed out as a result of that sort of money being stolen under Goodluck Jonathan. Now, as I said, it looks as though the days when Goodluck Jonathan used to quietly accept these criticisms and these lies are now long gone. Because it looks as though, and it is the case, that Goodluck Jonathan is now clapping back. So now, let me bring you President Goodluck Jonathan's response to what Ibrahim Magu said about him earlier on in the week. So it goes, 1.3 trillion looted funds. Magu lied to Nigerians. Jonathan reacts to allegation. President Goodluck Jonathan, in the night of Tuesday, March 27, reacted to the allegation by Ibrahim Magu, the chairman of Nigeria's anti-graft body, that 1.3 trillion was looted under the immediate past administration. Jonathan described the allegation as diversionary and coming days after United States released a report that massive corruption remains under the present administration. The former president accused Magu of trying to drag his name into the mix and blamed him for this latest in a series of negative verdicts on the current administration's anti-graft war. In his reaction to the allegation, Jonathan, through one of his spokesperson, Reno Omokri, said in a statement, "This is strange because Magu was expected to have used the forum to address the issues of impunity raised in the U.S. State Department report, which directly indicted leaders of the anti-corruption crusade by emphatically noting, amongst other things, that there is a climate of impunity in the President Muhammadu Buhari government that allows officials to engage in corrupt practices with a sense of exemption from punishment." The claim of a stolen 1.3 trillion public fund, which Magu reiterated on Monday, is not new. For the discerning members of the public, the claim by Magu is rehash of false allegations that started its ill-fated journey in 2016. The former president also said that in January 2016, the Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, claimed at a world conference in Abuja to mark the beginning of the administration's war against corruption that 55 well-placed Nigerians stole a whopping 1.34 trillion between 2006 and 2013, a period covering the presidencies of Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, and Jonathan. 9 months later, specifically in October 2016, the chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, PACAC, Professor Itsa Sage, repeated the allegation with only a slight alteration by alleging that 1.4 was stolen by top government officials and businessmen under the last 3 administrations. It will be recalled that in July 2015, Adams Oshiomhole, the current chairman of the All Progressive Congress, had alleged that a former government minister in Nigeria stole $6 billion, 2.1 trillion. Oshiomhole said U.S. officials informed President Muhammadu Buhari of the alleged theft during his visit to Washington the previous month. However, the U.S. State Department denied the story, asking Oshiomhole to name the official and not drag the United States into Nigeria's domestic politics. The truth is that Ibrahim Magu lied, and this is not the first or second time that he has lied in public, the former president said. Speaking further, Jonathan said, it will be recalled that Mr. Magu has boasted on many occasions that the EFCC under him had recovered about 739 billion within 2 years, adding that over 500 billion was recovered in 2017 alone. However, Kemi Adeosun, the then Minister of Finance in the same government at that time, decided to put a lie to Mr. Magu's claim by revealing in March 2018 that contrary to all the figures provided over the time by the EFCC's acting chairman, Ibrahim Magu, only 91 billion of such claims could be accounted for by the government. So, instead of relying on wild and unsubstantiated allegations, I would advise Mr. Magu to focus on some facts like the following. He noted that Transparency International had claimed that Nigeria is more corrupt now than during his own time. Moreover, it is a fact that renowned entertainer Mr. Charles Oputa, aka Charlie Boy, recently revealed that the spokesman of the Muhammadu Buhari re-election campaign, Mr. Festus Keyamo, paid him a 9-figure sum, at least 100 million naira, to attack the candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the February 2019 presidential elections. The question Mr. Magu should answer is, where did Festus Keyamo get so much money that he carelessly throws around? Finally, Nigerians saw clear evidence via drone imagery that bullion vans carted cash to the home of the national leader of the All Progressive Congress, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, 48 hours to the presidential election. Mr. Tinubu even boasted on live television that the bullion vans carried money and that it is nobody's business. This is even as the Money Laundering Act of 2011 makes it illegal for any individual to make cash payments exceeding 5 million naira and provides that every cash transaction over 5 million naira must be done via a financial institution. Magu should realize that his credibility and that of the agency that he leads should derive from the attention he gives to objectivity, professionalism, and hard evidence. Enough, and there's an exclamation mark to that. Nigerians want to hear something new, good news, tales of hope, and not this rehash of poorly articulated fables like corruption fighting back and non-existing folklores of people who stole in an unknown year, the former president said. So there we have it. So that's now Goodluck Jonathan responding to Ibrahim Magu's allegation that 1.3 trillion naira was stolen under his administration. And I covered this story on this channel, and we went through the figures and we went through what that money could have meant to the Nigerian state. But now, in his reaction, Goodluck Jonathan, through his spokesperson, has now refuted and rebutted this allegation, and really there's reasoning behind what Goodluck Jonathan has said, because some of the figures that they come out with sometimes are so fantastical that it boggles the mind. Because I too recall when Adams Oshiomhole was throwing that allegation around that one person stole $6 billion from the Nigerian state. So now imagine if one minister steals $6 billion from the Nigerian state. Firstly, you have to ask, how much is Nigeria actually worth, and how much is actually in the Nigerian coffers? How much is in the Nigerian state's coffers for one individual to be able to steal $6 billion? Because $6 billion is an awful lot of money. And then the next question is, if this one individual steals $6 billion, What about the other ones? How much are they stealing? So if one person steals 6 billion American dollars, we're talking about, not 6 billion nairas or $6 billion. If one person steals $6 billion and another person steals 500 million naira and the next one steals a billion, and you're thinking there are about 30 or so ministers or 40 ministers. So if all of the ministers, let's just put $1 billion to their name each, and then the palm sex, let's put 500 million, and then the DGs, let's put 100 million, and then the senators, let's put 500. How much money exactly does Nigeria itself have that all these individuals are stealing all these billions of dollars? So they just really just throw these figures around, because Nigeria is a $500 million economy, and out of that 500 million economy, a lot of it is in private industry. The actual money that the government gets, I can't imagine that it's more than 100 million to thereabout per annum. I'm just speculating now, and please correct me if I'm wrong on my figures in the comment section. So these are just figures that I am speculating on, but my imagination is that the government's earning will be approximately 100 to 150 million. Now, out of that, there's the administration of the state, because people have to still be paid, offices still have to be run, things still have to work, and a lot of this, will be gobbed up in all of that. So out of all of that, how much is then left for all these people to continue to loot? I know there's a lot to still steal from 100 million, and as I'm talking, I am doing the maths as well, but some of the figures are so fantastical. And how do you move that money as well? Because there's an audit trail. You cannot go and take it in cash. You can't go and take 100 billion or 6 billion rather in cash. So you have to have it transferred in some form. And if you have it transferred in some form, there's an audit trail for that money. So it's just ludicrous, some of these figures that they come up with, and at last they are now batting it back. It's a little bit like when President Buhari was saying that President Obasanjo spent 16 billion on the power sector, and President Obasanjo, of course, did not spend 16 billion on the power sector, and all of the budgeting for the power sectors has been audited and re-audited and investigated by countless panels in the Senate, and report after report have been done on this thing, and all of the spend has been accounted for, but for political reasons and for political gains. And fair enough, Obasanjo is a big beast. Obasanjo is a corruption guy, he's an Abacha guy, he's one of those, he's a criminal. So I'm not here in defense of Obasanjo or anybody. So if Buhari goes after Obasanjo, true or false, whatever I makes up about him, is two fighting. They can have it out between the two of them. But really, some of the figures that they just throw out, an idiot like Adams or Shiomole, some short little fella bouncing up and down, just throwing all this ludicrous that one person stole $6 billion. Do you know how much $6 billion is? Do you know how much $6 billion is? One person stole $6 billion. I mean, it's ludicrous. This is really why we struggle with these things, because they just throw out random figures to excite the gullible people who do not pause for a moment to think, hang on a minute, do these figures match up? So they just hear these figures randomly, they pick them up, and they say, oh, they are all thieves, so PDP thief money, and all this ludicrous nonsense. A lot of infrastructures were built to the Lagos to Ibadan expressway was 25% done. The railway system, the light rail system in Abuja was built by Goodluck Jonathan. The Kano to Abuja railway was built by Goodluck Jonathan. All of the airports in Nigeria were renovated by Goodluck Jonathan. Everything that is going on till this moment were done by this Goodluck Jonathan. So a lot of that money, if you drill into the audits, you will find them in infrastructures. But then they'll say, oh, corruption. And it's this same low wit, oh, one person stole $6 billion. I mean, get out of here, man, you idiots. It's just ludicrous, some of these things that we have to contend with. And I am glad, for one, that Goodluck Jonathan is now having the courage to fight back, because you cannot be a gentleman with these people, because these people are no gentlemen. So if you are thinking that you are a gentleman and that the truth is out there and the truth will out, the truth doesn't always out, and people believe what they hear. And if they call you a name and they call you a name and they call you a name, after a while mud sticks. So don't let that mud stick on you effectively, is what is happening here. And I for one am glad to see Goodluck Jonathan pushing back. So what are your thoughts now about President Goodluck Jonathan now coming out to push back against these criminals in power? So let's have conversations about that. Goodluck Jonathan, Ibrahim Magu, dodgy figures, made up numbers, and $6 billion. That's the conversation of this video. But before we go have that conversation, the routine, you click on the red button so it goes gray. That's the subscribe button. So click on that red subscribe button so it goes gray. Click on the bell button as well so you are notified as soon as I drop a new video. Now, once you've done both, come meet me in the comment section so we can have a conversation about corrupt practices in Nigeria. So I'll leave you here, meet you in the comment section, and I'll say peace.